broke structure. We made a lower low. And now we're going to pull back to make a potential, what? Low, lower high, low, low. Okay. So lower high. That's what we're expecting. But it's not going to look like this, and we know that. It's not just going to make a lower low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, right? We know that. So we're going to use this understanding, right, to identify what we can anticipate next for the market to move with the basic understanding of structure. Swing point here, swing point here, right? And obviously in here, there's a range, high in a range low, which is a bearish QM, bullish QM, strong low. Currently it will be a strong high, right? And then anticipate a retracement. When price comes in here, it'll take out, like I mentioned, some liquidity, and then eventually it will go down. Okay. So let me put this together. Because it's quite confusing. Maybe I'll be able to understand it this way. We broke structure. Now you're going to ask me, what do we need to confirm a BOS? We need wick to body. Wick to body. All right, that means that I want the body to close above the wick. That's my break of structure. I know there's wick to wick. I know there's body to body, but this is the one that I recommend to use. That's the one that I use. That's how I get my BOS, right? So once we get that break of structure to the upside, and then here we're going to have obviously a strong low, right? We're going to make that new higher high. We're just going to form that Quasimodo. Inside, there's going to be liquidity and trend liquidity that we're going to be taking. But it's not going to come like this. No. It's going to come down in ranges. Okay. It's going to come down in ranges. Right? Strong high, strong low, strong high, strong low, strong high, strong low. Right? Now, again, yeah, and some of you know from my YouTube channel, you know, weak highs and weak lows, right? Again, we're not talking about ranges. I'm just using strong high, strong low because it's easier for you guys to understand. But that right there is our higher high. That's our retracement to potentially make higher high, higher low. To make a what? A potential new high. If price fails to make a higher high, then this is going to become weak. Going to get taken. All right. And then from there, we should anticipate a move to the upside, known as a failure swing. So we're about talking talking about ranges. If this low fails to make a new higher high, it's a failure swing. It failed to make a new high. And then people consider this to be a change of structure or a change of character or whatever. right? It's not. This is just simply more liquidity being fed, right? That is weak. It's a weak low. It's gonna get taken. And you can already imagine all the people going short here, thinking that, oh, it broke structure right here. That's not a BOS to us. All right. That's why market structure by itself is very flawed. That's why we combine structure with ranges. You need to have the understanding of the basic higher highs and higher lows with a combination with the range understanding. So the bigger picture, right? So obviously that will get taken. So I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper, just a little bit deeper. This will also be taught in the video about ranges. Probably asking, how do we know, where's my pin? How do we know when this high or this low fails? Once we get a Quasimodo formed. So once we get a breaker structure, so once we get a BOS in the opposite direction. All right. Once we get a BOS in the opposite direction, we can anticipate, now listen to my words, anticipate for this to be weak and taken. All right. Then eventually price would come down, take that, and then take out this high. All right. That's how we use the current structure. So high came down. People would say, oh, it failed. This right here failed, let's say, or well, it depends on where it's coming from. So I'm not gonna say it failed because I don't want to confuse you guys. So just high, low, higher high, higher low, right here that we were anticipating to make a new higher high, failed, failure swing, gets taken. So this is not a higher low no more. This is your higher low, anticipating a new higher high. Okay. So using the basic structure understanding with the understanding of ranges, which is what you're going to learn in the next video. And then we're going to combine eventually these two together, and it should make sense. Okay. So make sure you rewatch this. It's very important that you understand market structure and ranges because these two are pretty much the main foundation. Besides the fact that everything is fractal, which is very important, but this is what's going to help us identify where we're at in the market overall. So I'm going to go over one more example. So we broke structure here. Price comes down, let's say, right? And it comes into a point of interest. Let's say it came into a breaker. Right. If you know what that is, don't worry about it, just know it's a point of interest. Right? So in there, when it came into here, okay, we're anticipating, let's say, price to make a higher high. Again, if it fails, that becomes weak, it will get taken. All right. And then we anticipate higher prices. This was supposed to be higher high, higher low, but because it failed, it is not your higher low, okay? It is not your higher low. So do not think it's a BOS and look for shorts here. And it's not gonna do that, right? It's gonna take out liquidity and then come here. All right. So now let's go into some liquidity. But you need to understand this with structure and ranges. So, like I mentioned, for us to have a breaker structure, we want to see a candle body closed above. It can be one candle,